Hi there. Welcome in. Thank you very much for joining. But it's been a while since I've since I've gone live, so apologies if this is like a little bit ropey if things don't work. I'm sure it'll be fine. Put something in the comments if anything's not kind of working as it should be. I think you can hear me. I think everything's good. We've got a little timer down there. That's when we're actually going to start drawing. Okay, so we're just going to give people a couple of minutes just to get ready, get in, and get set up. You want a bunch of pens, any colours will do, really. Um, but yeah, grab yourself a bunch of pens. I'll show you the official colours in a little while. But you want some skin colours, and uh, yeah, skin colours, eye colours, teeth colours, kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. I mean, my skin colours are going to be blue, so it'll be fine. But yeah, thank you for joining, everybody. Just do me a favour before we get started. If you get an opportunity to share this around, like it, thumbs up it, all that kind of stuff, then please do that. Likewise, jump into the comments while you can, because it'll go a little bit quiet whilst we're doing the lesson, because everyone's going to be busy kind of concentrating on drawing. You might be able to get in and comment there. So yeah, jump in the comments now. Let me know where you're watching from. It's good to already see quite a few Corp Academy members in there. Hi, Tracy. We've got Kiki in as well. Showtime. Trish is in. Hi, Trish. Tracy says, heads up to those people who haven't used their Poscas in a while. Yeah, they do get a bit watery and a bit runny in the warm weather. So if you're in the UK and they're a bit hot, brace yourself. They might be a little bit runny. Strafer, hola. I'm assuming that's you farts. Hope you're doing well, mate. Cat Pro's in as well. Hi, Cat Pro. And yeah, little thumbs up and things like that. So we're broadcasting on YouTube today and Facebook. That's all. Yeah, it is farts. Hi, farts. Do you want to see what colours we're going to do? If you've not, before I do that, if you've not taken part in one of my lessons before, everything I do is step by step. Okay, so it's nice and easy to follow. There's nothing complicated about it at all. It's just a zone out, follow some instructions. Within like 40 minutes we'll have a finished piece of work, so it'll all come together really, really quickly, and by that time you'll be bored of listening to me. You want to go and do your own thing anyway with it. So, and that's kind of what you want, follow the structure right at the start with me, and then towards the end, that's when you just go loose with it and do whatever you want, add whatever you want, and put your own kind of flavor to it. Let's see if I can bring in the colors that we're using, because we are running out of time. There we go. There are my colors. So yeah, first of all, a bit of cardboard. You want a bit of cardboard to draw on rather than a sketchbook. I find cardboard a little bit easier to work with. There's not many sketchbooks that work well with Posca. So I'm going to use a little bit of cardboard today. And then these are the colours I'm using. So I'm using these are skin colours, yeah? So we've got a light blue and a sky blue. Can you see that? Light blue and a sky blue at the top here. A shadow colour and a highlight colour is what you're going for the skin colours. And they can be any colours you like. And down here we've got ochre and straw yellow. So these are for the eyeballs and for the teeth. So yeah, just any kind of pale colour. And again, it's a shadow. The ochre is a shadow colour. Straw yellow is going to be a lighter colour for the rest of the eyeball. Moving down, I've got a grey. The grey is going to just be for a couple of little stitches. So it doesn't matter if you haven't got like a 5M for that. We're only going to use a little tiny delicate bit of it for the stitches. A white pen, because we're working on cardboard. Posca looks great on cardboard, especially when you put a power line around the whole thing. So when we finish, the very last thing we'll do, when you get to the end of the drawing, you're like, it doesn't look quite finished, so I'm gonna you need to do something to it. Usually a power line will fix that. Okay, time's up. So we are going to get started. Finish off with a couple of black pens. Yeah, those black pens are a 3M and a 1M. 3M is going to be for most of the outlining today, and then a 1M is going to be just for a few little tiny details that we'll throw in. Kind of things we're going to learn today is, one, we don't go in with pencils. Two, we just kind of throw loads of colour in. Three is like cutting in, so using the base layer to get some really interesting shapes. And yeah, let's just have a little bit of fun with it, shall we? So here we go. Let's switch over to my overhead mode. So you've got all your colours ready. Yeah, all of these are 5M, by the way. 5Ms, nice fat pens, because they're much easier to work with. We can colour in a lot quicker with a 5M. rather than just the skinny pens. Are you ready to go? Should we do it? Let's see if I can remember how to draw this zombie. We'll start off with the eyes and the teeth. So if you remember, these are our colours. Yeah, the two yellows for eyes and teeth. Let's go in with the darker of those two colours. So for me, this is... oh, Showtime is Scott. Showtime's a band name. Okay, that makes sense, Scott. Right, go in with your darker eyeball colour, and let's go and throw in a couple of eyeballs. Now, main thing to remember here is you only really want this character to be, we're just going to draw the head, you only want it to be about the size of your hand. You don't want to get too big, otherwise you're going to go in, you're going to spend too much time colouring in. And as we've learned in the academy a little while ago, you don't want to spend too much time colouring in. It's better to just kind of get it finished. Yeah, no pencils today. We don't draw with pencils in the Corp Academy. We go straight in with pens. It makes you learn a little bit faster. Let's get some drawing done, and then I'll carry on talking. Let's go and put in a couple of eyeballs. So there's one. There's two. Oh man, can you even see that? No, not really. I'll go in again. That's better. You can see that now, can't you? In the Corp Academy, you're either learning to draw or you're drawing to learn. And I like the whole kind of drawing to learn. So that's why I like going straight in with a pen, because you're drawing stuff in order to try and get better at it rather than just trying to draw and get it perfect each time. You just got to go with those mistakes and just take some chances. You get better faster if you go in without without pencils. Right, I got a couple of eyeballs in. The next thing we're going to do is go and throw in some teeth. So just come down there, put a great big M shape in, leave a space, big M shape, join it up together across the bottom there. Again, I'll go over that twice so you can actually see. Should have checked that, shouldn't I, before starting the broadcast. Make sure you can actually see the colours. Let's see if we can get in a little bit. I think that's as close in as we can get. So we've got that M in. Let's go and put some more teeth around the outside. So there's another tooth. There's another tooth. And you don't really want to go too far out here. Maybe one more. But try not to go too far out past the eyeballs. Okay, that'll do nicely. Before we move on, let's go and just put a little shadow in. So just under there, look. Just fill the bottom half of the eyeball, not even the bottom half, just a little bottom slither of that eyeball with a bit more of this colour. And again, I'll give that another coat so you can see it. The trick with Poscas is not to press too hard. If you want to get them working well for you, don't press too hard. The idea is to leave as much paint as possible on top of your canvas or whatever you're drawing on. So if you press hard, you're just going to get a little thin coat of paint. You don't want that. You want to press really gently so you leave a nice thick coat of paint. That's it. Let's go in with some skin tones now. So reminder then, for skin tones, we've got two shades. I'm using sky blue and light blue. There we go, sky blue and light blue. Let's go in with the... What are we doing? Let's go, I think, let's go in with the darker of those two colours. So for me, that's sky blue. So darker of those two colours. And the reason we're doing that is because we're then going to put some shadows in. Then we're going to cut out on those shadows, or cut in on those shadows. So are you ready for this then? So here are the lines we're going to do. Let's start off with some cheekbones. So for these cheekbones, you're just going to kind of work your way around this part of the eyeball, leave a little bit of a gap, and throw in a little bucket kind of shape. So coming down the side lip, put in a cheekbone, and then a little hook underneath. Let's do the same kind of thing on the other side. So down the side, a little cheekbone, and then going across underneath the eye. Something like that. Got that in. Let's do the easy bit now, shall we? And just get in between the in between the eyes where the nose goes, let's just go and put a big triangle with a line through it. Again, just keep these shapes nice and easy, nice and simple. Let's now get on top of the eyes. Now, we're going to put some eyebrows in. For the eyebrows, we're going to kind of like start off with a C shape, and then we're going to go all the way across the eyeball, and then just drop it down on the outside. So like this, a C shape, cutting out the top of the eyeball. We're getting to that top part of the eyeball. Just make it angry so it goes all the way up there, and then just drop it down a little bit. So it takes a slice out the top of the eyeball is what we're going for. Something similar over on the other side. Just a big C shape, slice out the top of the eyeball, and then just drop it down. So you kind of start that line outside the eyeball, take a cut across the eyeball, and then finish outside the eyeball. That's looking all right. Where are we going next with this one? Let's finish off around the top of the head. So we put you remember those two cheekbones in. The reason I like putting cheekbones in for characters like this is, one, because we have cheekbones, but the other is it's like a nice break between the top part of the head and the bottom part of the head. So that's why I like little cheekbones in. So we're going to take a little line now. It's going to come out the side of this cheekbone, the top of this cheekbone. We're going to go up, big old dome across the top of the head, and then end up on the other side hitting the cheekbone. Peachy magic, it is easier. I tell you what, I don't draw things if they're complicated, because I'm teaching people how to draw. That's what I do. I find drawings that are easy to replicate, and all have a natural flow to them. So each line kind of builds up and follows on from a previous line. So yeah, thanks Trish. Here we go. Let's go and put this skull bit in. So we're just going to come from the side here. Look. It's going to, you start off traveling up, and then just, you want to put a dome in, but you don't want to really do it with a curve. You want to put it in a series of straight lines, if you know what I mean. You want to draw a curve with a series of straight lines. So look, we're going up there, diagonal, across, and then that's a bit of a curve on that side. Look at how wonky that is as well. How many of you would have drawn that and thought, that's so wonky, I'm going to start again? Don't do that. Whatever you do, never ever do that. Never start again. Drawing's always meant to look pretty rubbish at this stage. It's always meant to look a little bit weird. This is the beauty of Posca pens. We could either change that later on, or we can just embrace it and just accept the fact that we're drawing a zombie with a wonky head. That'll be fine. Okay, let's make this watertight then now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some lines that go from the teeth, outside of the teeth, curl around the teeth, up, and then into that cheekbone again. Okay, yeah, wonky is our friend. Wonky lines are our friends. So watch this line. From the side of the teeth, you're going to just jump out, follow the top of the tooth round, then go up and then into the cheekbone. Okay, round the top of the tooth, up into the cheekbone. Let's do the same on the other side. Round the top of the tooth, up into the cheekbone. Gives us a nice little shape there. We'll wrap this up with a couple of C shapes for some ears. Let's not think about it too much. Let's just go and whack a couple of ears in. See how it's kind of on the, starts on the skull, finishes in the cheekbone again. All right, have we all got that in? That is our guidelines. That's like stage one. I have this framework for drawing with Posca pens called Rough to Ready. I've written a blog post about it that explains what stage you should be at whenever you're drawing with Posca pens. It's called Rough to Ready. First two stages are the rough stages, which is what we're doing now, guidelines and colouring in. Second two stages are the ready stages. So it's all about adding in the black outlines, ties it all together in those finishing touches, which is the fun bit. Tanya says everything she does is wonky. So I've heard. Let's carry on, shall we? let's go. And so we've got those little shadows. Error Trish. Yeah, I know you are, Trish. I think. It's Pat, yeah? I know you. I know who these people are. Hiding behind your pseudonyms. Where was we? shadows. So I like putting in shadows first and then going in with highlights a little bit later. So let's go and put some shadows in. You've already done the shadows in the eyeballs. Do you remember the eyeballs? We just put that bottom bit in of yellow, that ochre. Go take that blue that we've been using. In fact, just don't put it down yet. And we're going to go and throw some shadows in. Ready for these shadows then? We're just going to work our way across here. We're going to put them in now. A lot of people ask me about, you know, how to put shadows in, how to know where shadows live. And the reality is, in my opinion, if you get like 70% of your shadows in kind of the right place, it's going to work. It's really, I wouldn't think too much about it or stress too much about it. Let's go and put some shadows in. So the first ones we'll do, let's go and put some in the skull here. So I think we'll have a shadow here. Look. So from that cheekbone, let's just put a little line there and colour that bit in. Across the skull there. Yeah, let's get underneath. I'll slow up a little bit, shall I? Let's get underneath on that cheekbone now. Just throwing a little bit of a shadow there. Look, bottom of that cheekbone. I feel like I can probably go a little bit. Let me just see if I can get in a little bit closer for you here. Because we are... That's a bit better, isn't it? Let me just put that under here. There you go. Just zooming in a little bit so that you can actually see what we're drawing. That's better, isn't it? Let's carry on with those shadows. Where are we next? Underneath the cheekbone. So again, don't think about it too much. I think you know, that cheekbone's going to be casting a shadow. So around about there, let's put it in. At the moment, you're just throwing in blocks of colour, and we'll put the black lines in later, which will kind of separate all these bits out a little bit more. Let's carry on going. What about the ears? So we're definitely going to have some shadows in the ears. So let's do this bit. Bottom of the ear. Throwing a little shadow there. But then also let's do the inner ear. So watch this, look. We're going to take a little line here, a little hook across there. And we'll throw in a shadow that side as well. If I'm going too slow for you, feel free to do the same on the other side, because we're going to do that in a few seconds. I'm going to move over to the other side and colour that side in exactly the same way. How are we doing for time? We're doing great for time. Usually I'd spend about like 20-25 minutes with guidelines and colouring in, and then another 20 minutes or so with outlines and finishing touches. So we're doing good. Peachy Magic, wish I could be there side by side drawing with you. I rarely do like side by sides nowadays. Everything I do is online. Ever since COVID kind of happened, I just do online stuff. But you know, I don't know where you are, but if you're in the UK, maybe you can do that one day. Next shadow. Next shadow is going to be across the eyes. So we've got this kind of shape, look, across the eyes, yeah? So we've got a few little shadows to put in here. First of all, this one here, let's just throw in a little shadow, buffing up to the eyeball there. You'd kind of get something similar happening on the other side as well, just there, look. There's a little shadow, colour it in. And again, the good thing about Posca pens is if you miss any of this out and you forget to put it in, the paint just layers up on top. So you can always add these bits in a bit later if you need to. Right, last shadow on this side, then we're going to whip over to the other side, okay? So that eyebrow across there, we're going to draw that line again. We're just going to start and finish at the same point, but we're going to make it fatter in the middle. So like this, look. Start and finish at the same point, make it fatter in the middle, finishing just there, and let's throw some colour in there. Again, no stress about getting it perfect. Just go and chuck in some shadows and hope for the best. Let's try and do the other side. So do you remember the order in which we did it? We did the side of the head first, just kind of tucking into that cheekbone. Let's go and throw that bit in. Then we got underneath the cheekbone. Just take a little bit out here. There's going to be a shadow there. Then we're going to go underneath the cheekbone, a little cast shadow. Somewhere there, that'll do. Doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be in there at this stage. We can play around with making it look good later. It's not meant to look good at this stage. We're still in that rough stage. Where do we go next? Let's get into the ear. So we did a shadow around the bottom of the ear, just there. And then watch this, that shadow on the inner ear, just there. Look at the ears. Look at my ears. One, they're not symmetrical at all. Symmetry is for losers. Don't worry about symmetry. This is why I like drawing zombies as well, because it doesn't matter if you get things a little bit wrong, if things are a little bit wonky. Like my head on this one is leaning over to one side. One ear is bigger than the other. That all works really well if you're drawing a zombie. Thanks, Peachy. Right, let's get into the eyes and see if we can put some shadows in the eyes. So remember, we've got those two shadows across the side of the eyeballs first. We've got one that side, one that side. Underneath the eyebrows, the side of the eyeballs. At this stage, you're starting to put quite a lot of paint on your canvas as well. So just be careful where you position your hand. Every now and then you're going to put your hand down, it's going to feel wet. You know you're going to have smudged it. There's always a way of getting around that, so I wouldn't worry too much about it if it happens. But just you know, kind of mindful of the fact that these things might happen, or be mindful of where you put in your hand. Right, let's finish off this then. So remember, we start and finish at the same point. We just thicken out that in a bit. So we've got ourselves some nice fat eyebrows there. Big fat shadows. It's going to make those eyebrows, or eyelids, I guess they are. It's going to make them look like they're really popping out. Okay, that's the plan just there. Trish says, I'm going to too many classes. When you talked about symmetry, first thing in my mind, symmetry is for losers. I'm glad that when I said symmetry, you automatically heard symmetry is for losers before I'd even said it. That's lovely. And it is not for losers. I just joke that it's not that important. Let's not stress about it all too much. Yeah, Stray Farts saying is whatever mistake is made earlier is gone now. Yeah, so if you screwed up with the eyeballs, they're just going to slowly start getting covered up. The main thing is when you're drawing with Posca pens, if you make a mistake, don't try and fix it straight away. Let it dry, go back to it later on and fix it then. Even though, you know, when you make a mistake on your artwork and it's like you're trying to draw other things around it and the mistake just keeps calling out to you, just keeps saying, over here, you've made a mistake over here, just keeps doing that to you, just ignore it. You know, fix it on your own terms, in your own time. That's the important bit. Okay. We're going now. We've got our shadows on. Let's go and put in our highlights. So if you remember, we've used the ochre for the eyeball and teeth shadows. We're now going to use straw yellow. The only reason I'm using straw yellow is it's quite an opaque yellow. The regular Posca yellow just isn't quite opaque enough for me. Straw yellow is a really nice colour, a little bit creamier, and I find it a little bit more opaque as well, and it works beautifully with this ochre colour. Nice one, Kiki. Are they the acrylic markers? Are they the ones that have got acrylic written on the side? I know a lot of people are using those. I like a Posca pen full of paint, but that doesn't mean everyone has to go for a Posca pen. Molotov one for all pens are really, really good. The only issue I take with the non-branded pens is sometimes they run out a little bit quicker, or they dry up a little bit quicker. But you know, find what works for you. Right, let's go and do these eyeballs. So we're going to get into the eyeballs, going to get into the teeth. We want to leave some of that shadow showing though, okay? So here we go, look. around there and just do that top part of the eye. Colour it in. Now remember, when you're colouring in, we're colouring in big areas here, so a nice light touch to leave a thick coat of paint. That's what we're going for. Yeah, Kiki, a few people I know are using those acrylic markers and are saying they're really good. I might have to try them at some stage. I'm always looking for other pens to try. I've kind of, in the Corp Academy, I've kind of landed on just using Posca pens. So I do something called Posca Club, where we draw stuff like this just using Posca pens. Doodle Club, where I just use, fine liners. And then Colour Club, where I use alcohol markers. I always like using pens as well. The reason I like using pens is because there's no setup and takedown. You know what I mean? If you're doing like watercolours or painting or any other kind of arts and crafts, it tends to take a while to get things set up and ready, and then it takes a while to put them all away again. With pens, it's like you just stick them in your pencil case, or you just get them out of your pencil case and you're good to go. So I like the speed and the efficiency of it. Right, so everybody, have you coloured in your eyeballs? Should we go and do the teeth now? With the teeth, you just kind of want to leave a little bit of the ochre around the outside edge, so you don't have to colour in all of it. Just go and put in a little bit of a shape like this, little D shapes. Still leaving a little bit of that ochre around the outside edge. Throw all the colour in. We're still in, this is like stage 2, so like I said before, rough to ready, the framework. Stage 1, guidelines, we did that nice and easy. It was where normal people would use pencils, and we don't. We go straight in with pens. Stage 2, throwing in the colour. Always, at this point, still meant to look a mess. So if your drawing looks a mess at this stage, you're on track. Well done. Tracy says she found some acrylic gel markers the other day that are fun for little line work. I do like, I don't use them often enough, but I do like Posca Zentangle work. So loads of Zentangle people would just use like black pens, but I think colour Zentangle with Poscas, layering up, and I think Tanya does that quite a lot as well. It's just really nice with like fat pens to create like this blurry, colourful background, and then the thin pens over the top for all those little intricate little details. It's a very satisfying way to draw. Shall we, let's carry on. Last stage of colouring in. Everything else that's not coloured in already, we're going to go and colour in with the light skin tone. As a reminder, these are the two skin tones that I'm using. I'm using sky blue and light blue. There it is, sky blue. We've already used the sky blue for the shadow, so let's go and use the light blue now. And this is kind of like a bit of an opportunity to start cutting in a little bit, which is a technique we use quite a lot. So look at this. Look at how this sky blue just goes straight over the top of the light blue. Sorry, goes straight over the top of the sky blue. And let's just bring it down the side here, just right on the edge there. And look at how that sky blue shadow is colour in a little bit up here, so you can see what I mean. But look at how that sky blue shadow just kind of disappears into nothing behind the head. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to try and do. Let's work our way across. So again, those sky blue pencil lines, not pencil lines, but sky blue guidelines that we put in are now disappearing underneath the paint. And remember, nice light touch with the paint pens. Don't press too hard. Prime it off the side on a scrap bit of card. That's where you want to prime your artwork. Come back in and colour in. And look at this, as we move down into the eyes, let's just do a little bit more cutting in. So we're just going to go in there. And again, look at how we're just now creating these real sharp lines using these fat 5M pens. You could buy a 1M and draw a little thin sharp line with a 1M pen, but you're never going to get a sharp point like that even with a 1M. You're only going to get it by cutting in, which is where you're creating these extra shapes by using the base colour. Usually it's using the base colour. You'll see what I mean a little bit later on when we add some more little shapes in. Concentrate on this point on getting that top part of the head coloured in. So don't worry about the bottom bit. Get that top part of the head coloured in, like that bit, the dome. Nice and quick, because we want that to dry, because we're going to layer up on that and we're going to make that look a bit more interesting. At the moment it's a bit boring. We'll make it look a bit more interesting later. So get that done and coloured in and dried as fast as possible. Okay, let's keep on working down. Look, we're just going to go around here and again just sharpen off. Look at that, the way the shadow just sharpens off and disappears around there. Let's keep on going down underneath those eyes. Remember those shadows we put on that side as well? Let's go and cut those in a bit. So that we can get those real sharp points. Look at that, I've got one big shadow one side, one little shadow the other side. That's no biggie. Let's go around that nose, just try and leave that blue, that sky blue showing around the nose. Just want a little bit of that to still be there. Over on the other side, into that cheekbone. Let me slow it up a little bit there. You know, one of the things you can see, and one of the things that loads of people get problems with, is pilling. Hey Andrew, I can't thank you enough for the tutorials and all the time you put in. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. And why is it that Posca seems to work better on cardboard or that type of media? I have no idea. I think it's just a magic combo, isn't it? The bright, beautiful colours of paint markers or Posca pens on cardboard always just looks really nice. One of the things you will get, one of the problems you will get though, is with the wrong kind of cardboard, you will get something called pilling. So if you imagine like these nibs, to let all the paint through, these nibs are quite coarse. So when you're drawing on a bit of cardboard, it's like using a bit of sandpaper on a bit of cardboard, and the fibres of the paper start to come up. That's a problem that every Posca artist gets. It's why I like using the Art Gecko Freestyle sketchbook, because you don't get any of that. It's like a proper sketchbook, white paper, and it all kind of it just works really, really well. Let me just quickly show you. Oops. So there you go. There's something we drew earlier, and it's just a really beautiful sketchbook to use with Posca pens, and you don't get any pilling. You'll get to a point where you can kind of just touch a bit of cardboard. You just give it a little rub, and you'll be like, oh, okay, that's not going to pill. That's going to be fine. And some cardboard, you'll touch it and you'll think that's way too soft. There's going to be fibres all over the place on that one. So you'll become a cardboard connoisseur the more you practice with it. If you do get pilling though, there's a couple of methods of getting around that. One is just to draw a little bit lighter, you know, a real light touch, so you're not scratching the surface quite as much. The other is as easy as just putting a coat of lacquer over the top. So I've got some like furniture lacquer, and I just kind of do a big dollop of that over the top of a bit of cardboard. Gives it that protective surface, so you still get the natural brown of the cardboard, but then you get the beautiful colours popping off it. I think that's what I was saying. Right, let's finish off this bit of colouring in. Down here above the teeth, look at that, just going in there. Now where the blue buffs up to the yellow ochre down here, we are eventually going to have some black lines, so we don't have to worry too much about getting it perfect. This is what I love, and we'll come to this in a little while, a wonky black line, because you can hide loads of, not mistakes, because they're not mistakes, but you can hide stuff behind these wonky black lines. And what it means is that because you know that anything you do that doesn't look quite right is going to be hidden, easily hidden behind a wonky black line, it just makes the whole drawing process a lot more enjoyable. If you're drawing and you think, oh, I'm going to make mistakes, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm going to mess it up, that kind of sucks the joy out of it. Perfectionism sucks the joy out of it. But if you're kind of going for wonky and you know that things are going to be hidden later, and you know it's easy to fix any mistakes that you do make, it just you'll enjoy your drawing a lot more. Yeah, and half the time they're not mistakes. Like Trish says, they're not mistakes, they're features. Happy little accidents. Let's get into the ear look. Just go and quickly colour in the rest of that. Look how sharp that shadow is for the inner ear now. You do have to have kind of a bit of a commitment to where these lines live, because we're going to put some of these lines back in with a black pen later. So you kind of need to know roughly where they go. But, you know, just chuck it in. This is starting to look good. We're starting to get somewhere with this. I'm liking how it's looking. Favourite thing to draw besides zombies? I mean, it's monsters. and it's for the same reason. I like drawing monsters because you can just go crazy with it. If you make a little mistake, you can turn it into a feature, like Trish was just saying. What else do we like drawing? Yeah, you know, animals, any kind of character-based work is what I like drawing. The one thing I don't particularly like drawing is it always feels a bit weird if I do a drawing where I haven't put a black outline around it. So I do like to whack a black outline around most of my drawings, which is in fact what we're going to do now. Yeah, anything weird, Trish. Anything weird, I'll draw it. A friend of mine once said to me that, you know, the Co-op Academy would be a lot more popular if you just did normal drawings. He said if you weren't so weird with all your drawings, you'd have 10 times as many members. Oh, yeah, maybe, but I like this little bunch of weirdos that we've got in the Co-op Academy. Drawing weird stuff. The amount of times I see comments on my drawing saying, that fish you draw was beautiful, but why did you have to chop it in half? I've done a couple of lessons without black outlines, you're right, Trish. But not too many. And it's always a test for me. A chihuahua. A chihuahua sounds like a good idea, yeah. I've done a few like dog drawings in my time. Okay, let's go and put some black outlines on this. What are we doing for time? Yeah, let's move it a bit faster now, shall we? Go and grab your 3M, your black 3M. We're going to whip on some quick black outlines. Now, anytime I'm doing my black outlines, my thought process is start with the bits that are closest to me first and then work my way backwards into the drawing. So for me, like the eyes would be closest, the ears are furthest back. So that's kind of the order in which I'll be drawing. Whenever we put these black outlines on, we're going to double line it, not to make it twice as thick, but to make it twice as wonky. So every line is going to be double lined. We're also going to try doing some like flicking off to get tapered ends. If we can't flick off, then we'll just do some dots and dashes just to give ourselves some little creases, things like that. Okay, are you ready for this then? Let's go and do that eyebrow line. You remember that eyebrow line that was a C shape and it went across the eye and then flicked down? Let's go and put that in. It lives about here, look. So you'll put it in once. You'll put it in once like that. That's a nice enough line. It's a little bit boring. So you just go in again. And the whole point of this second line is not to have it like a perfectly smooth line, but we've got some real fat bits in that line and some thin bits all over the place. That's the kind of stuff we want. Also, whilst you're in there, let's do some little like flicking off. So the flick off line is where you get a nice tapered thin end to it. If you're struggling with flicking off to get that thin tapered end, just do some little dots and dashes like that to give yourself a little bit of a crease. So once you've got that eyebrow done, remember these steps, because we are going to flip it over and do the other side as well. Once you've got that eyebrow done, this line is going to take off, and then it's going to land again about here. And as it lands, let's do another little flick. Again, look, wonky, fat and wonky in the middle, flicked off either end. That's kind of what we want. Okay, once you've got that in, let's go around the rest of the eyeball. So forget the shadows and the highlights. Just look at the two colours. We've got yellows and we've got blues. So let's go and do this line now that goes all the way in between. Look at how wonky that is. This is the thing we're working with cardboard. Cardboard is naturally corrugated, so you are going to make a few of these little feature lines. Let's call them feature lines. So again, this is why I like using double lining. Look at how wonky that line is. The original wonky bit was not intentional, it was just the corrugated cardboard playing up. But going over it again and making it thick and wonky, that now looks like a much more realistic zombie eyeball line. So go around it, strong intersections. So we've got a flick off there. We've got a flick off, which is a thin line at the end. A strong intersection is where you have a fat line at the end. A thick off, if you will. And up here, look, where that line joins that line in like a T-junction, where that line joins that line in a T-junction, that's where you want it to be a bit fatter. It's where the shadows live, so we go a little bit fatter. So put that in, and then let's work our way down. Let's just do a few little bits of flicking off in there. Maybe work around here. Let's go and put another little flick off, just some extra little creases. How easy is that? Okay, get over on the other side. Let's go and do exactly the same on the other side. So it's eyebrows, bottom eyebrow, top eyebrow, eyeball, flick off. Okay, nice and easy. Let's go and do it. Remember, everything is double lined to make it double wonky. Eyebrow in, top eyebrow, fat and wonky in the middle, flicked off or dotted and dashed at the ends. Quickly get around the eyeball. Embrace the wonkiness. The other thing that wonkiness naturally gives you is little creases, not little creases, little bends in the line. And once you've got a little bend in the line, that gives you an opportunity to then flick off on a bend. Look at that, a little flick off where the bend is. Just makes the whole thing just look a lot more natural. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, let's keep it going. Let's go on the, we're going to do the inside of the nose next. So let's quickly go around the inside of the nose here. Look, we'll show the little bit of cardboard through. That looks nice. Beautifully wonky. Yeah. So Showtime, the way I like to think of it is I don't want to stop people being perfectionists. If you want to be a perfectionist with your work, that's absolutely fine. I know people get a lot of enjoyment, not enjoyment, but I know people have a desire to be perfectionists. But instead of going for perfectly smooth lines, go for perfectly wonky lines. You know, embrace that wonkiness and try and see how good you can make your wonky lines look. Let's and yeah, it adds a bit of character. Right, cheekbones next. So cheekbones flicked off either end, fat and wonky in the middle. Remember where we put those cheekbones in? They were roughly around about here, weren't they? So they kind of went there, underneath that shadow, and then we went underneath the eye, about there, something like that. That looks nice. So flicked off either end, fat and wonky in the middle. Let's do the same kind of thing at the other side. So flicked off, fat and wonky, not symmetrical at all. All sorts of points sticking out in the wrong places. But, you know, it works. Next closest thing to me, I think, is going to be the teeth. So let's go and do the teeth, and then we'll make the whole thing watertight by going around the top of the head. Now, my suggestion with the teeth is let's start with the two teeth in the middle and work our way outwards for this. Okay, so like this, let's go around about there. Double wonky, that looks okay. Yeah, sometimes that's good enough for me. It looks okay. Doesn't need to look good. Just doesn't need to look bad. Let's go and do those. We do the first two teeth because they're closest to us. Then we do the other teeth because they're further back and because they might sit behind these first two teeth. So watch this one. How this one starts up here now and just joins in about there. Again, we've got an intersection in there, so make sure as lines join in with each other, those little bits are a little bit fatter. Final teeth right on the outside there. Nice and quick. How are we looking? I think we're like 10 minutes away from finishing. So yeah, let's make this watertight now. So what I mean by that is you just want to put a black line around the whole thing. This is my preferred way of doing it. I like things to look watertight, so everything's joined up. There's no way of a colour getting inside. So here we go. Let's go around this bit, joining in there again with the strong intersection. So look under here, that bit as that bit joins into underneath that cheekbone. It's a T-junction. There we go. It's a T-junction, so it's where the shadow lives. Go thicker. So you draw shadows when you're using marker pens. You just thicken up the line. A real artist will call it line weight, but we'll just call it a strong intersection or a fat bit. Okay, let's finish off around the. Should we go? Yeah, let's quickly go around the top of the head. From one side to the other. Again, I'm not stressing about having that as a smooth dome. I don't want a smooth line across there. It's going to look awful. Let's go for a wonky line. And the great thing about double wonky lines is when you've gone around there and you've missed bits, you put the line in the wrong place, you can just, with your second line, you can kind of fix it. So like just there, I don't know if you can see that bit, but just there's a little bit of brown card on the wrong side of the black line there. So what I'll do is, as I'm double lining it, I'll just bring that in there to double line it. Likewise, if there's any colour on the outside, I'll just double line it and make that part of the line a little bit fatter. Okay, let's finish off in the ears. I'm sure I don't need to tell you at this stage, but we've got some intersections there. So in those intersections, make them thicker, holds your artwork together much, much better. Let's go and do the other ear. One line to get your eye in, a second line to make it wonky, maybe do a bit of strategic work with it. And that strategic work is what I'm talking about with intersections and flick-offs and stuff like that. How quick was that? Okay, let's just go and put in a couple of little creases. Now, I want to make these teeth look like they're kind of rammed in. I know we're drawing a skull. Wonky lines are the new perfect lines. Yeah, exactly. Perfectly wonky. That's what we're going for. I know we're drawing a skull, and I got a bit of grief. I got a bit of stick about this because last time I drew a skull and it made it look like it was skin. Everyone was like, why have you drawn a skull with ears? It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, let's go and trigger a few people by making it look a bit more like skin. So I want these teeth to look like they're rammed up and it's like creating a little gathering of skin. So just above here, let's go and put in a little line there. Little line there. Just like that. Throw those in. We'll cut those out later. Doesn't matter that the ends are fat. That's fine. We'll cut them out later. Okay, stick with that black pen. Let's go and put some pupils in. Now, pupils, you can either have your character looking up, left, right, whatever. If generally, if I make a mistake somewhere, like if I made a mistake over here and I had to colour something in, maybe just draw something over the top of it, I'd have the pupils looking at where that mistake used to be, so it looks like whatever I drew over the top is meant to be there. On this occasion, I'm just going to put in some crazy eyes. So let's go for one pupil down there, one pupil up there. You know, if you're drawing a portrait of your best friend, you can't put eyes in like that unless they've got eyes like that. And you know, no shame if you have, that's fine. But if you're drawing eyes like that, generally, it looks a little bit odd. So that's why I like drawing zombies and things, because you can get away with things being a little bit off, and it'll be fine. In fact, it looks better. Right, let's move on from wonky eyes in case of upsetting anybody. And let's go and put in some spots. So one of the things I really like doing is just taking whatever colours I've used and bringing them back in with some little spots. So remember that shadow colour that we used, that sky blue, that darker shadow colour that we used. What we're going to do now is we're just going to scatter over here with loads of spots. Go for clumping them together, one big, one small. Move on, one big, one small. Move on, one big, one small. That kind of thing. Avoid the head, because we're going to do something special with the head a little bit later. But something like this. Look. One big, one small. One big, one small. One big, one small. Yeah, don't think about it too much. One big, one small. One big, one small. And then one in there as well. Yeah, one big, one small. Don't think about it too much. Chuck it in. Look at that. Look, already starting to look a lot better, yeah? Once you start doing that. Okay. I spoke about what we're going to do with the head. I want to put some stitches in across the head. So before we put stitches in, let's go and put in a line where the scalp is going to be like chopped off. Again, it's all about just drawing stuff that's a little bit weird, a little bit wonky. So let's just go take that 3M black line and just go and whack in a line going all the way across it. This is going to be the bit that's going to be sliced off. We're going to put some stitches in there. It's going to make it look really interesting. But we need to put it in now so that we can dry for a few seconds. So go and whack that in. Yeah, Tracy, if it's starting to look like a monkey, then keep going with that monkey vibe. You know, just if you're drawing a chair and it starts to look more like an elephant, then just draw an elephant. Do you know what I mean? It's like just whatever journey your artwork is taking you on, that's the journey you need to follow. I used the chair and the elephant one because one of my students did that. We were drawing. I think we were drawing a cat or something like that, and it ended up looking more like a chair. So yeah, we just went with it. It's a good advert for my workshops, isn't it? Right, grey pen. Remember I said we're going to need that grey pen. We're just going to throw a couple of stitches in now. So that black line that we've done across there, we give it a few seconds. It should be pretty dry now. What we're going to do is going to stick a couple of grey sausages all the way across there for some stitches. Yeah, so just in here, look. There you go, grey sausage. Grey sausage. Keep on going. Just change the angle of them. You see how I'm changing the angle to fit the head. Throw those grey sausages in there. Zombie elephant. Why have I never drawn that? I should draw that at some stage. With a chopped off trunk. What I'm showing you up here with the stitching across the top is that when a drawing's pretty much finished, you can then like mess around with it and change it. Go and grab your skin tone. What we're going to do is just going to create some little folds of skin. Look. Little bump there, little bump there. Do the same on the other side. Little bump above the line, little bump below the line. It's going to create like a little bit of swelling of skin. It's going to make it look more like it's separated. So go and throw that in as well, and let's leave that for a few seconds to dry. And what we'll do, whilst we're waiting for that to dry, let's just get down and do a little bit of cutting in with some of these lines. So you remember these lines we did around the teeth? Look at how we just take that base colour, we just go over it again, bring in those real sharp lines. Just chopping off either end like that. We can even get into all these other lines that we've done. Just start chopping bits out. Look at that. Nice sharp lines everywhere. That's how you get these sharp lines, just adjusting them slightly with that base colour. So yeah, just work your way around that. Wherever you've got a line that you think doesn't look quite right, you want to make it look a little bit sharper, just go and fix it by chopping in with those colours. Grab your black pen, let's go and put some little freckles underneath the eyes. So we've got those spots that we did with the darker colour all over the place. I like putting a few little spots around the eyes. So again, just whack a few in, big and small. How's that looking? Yeah, that looks good. Just a few around the eyes. I like a little few freckles around the eyes. I think that looks great. Right, let's wrap this thing up now. We're in the last few minutes. Stick with that black pen, that 3M black pen. We're going to outline those sausages across the top. So let's just be careful where you place your hand. Your sausages should be dry now. Your little stitches should be dry. So let's go and outline them. Again, double line them. Just remember, every time we outline something, we double line it. Not to make it twice as fat, but to make it twice as wonky. Wonky lines are our friends. It's the biggest tool that you've got that's going to help you enjoy your drawing more. Is really using these wonky lines. Let's go around these little folds of skin. Just bring that round and back in. Same over here, look. Round and back in. What we'll also do with that is we're going to make those stitches look like they're going into holes. So like this, just around the top, we just want to thicken off that bit. Around the bottom, just thicken it off a little bit. Just trying to make it look like this. A hole at the top and a hole at the bottom. So let's quickly do those. Just throw in a few little, this is where we're going to grab the 1M. Grab your 1M black. Mine's not quite ready. Grab your 1M black and just some little diagonal lines across those stitches. Going to make it look a little bit more like they are bits of string. So little diagonal lines, look. That looks good. Maybe even just a few little creases around. The little dots and dashed lines. Just going around the holes. See how it looks like there's a little bit of swelling around the hole. It's also a nice neat way of doing craters in planets. Just with those little dotted and dashed lines. Where are we up to next? Go and grab that that darker colour. We're going to do a little bit more cutting in. So if we're going to do some cutting in, we need to give ourselves something to cut in with. So imagine like an M shape. Just stretch it out a little bit. So across the top here. Stretched out M shape. So it's like coming down in the middle and going back up on the other side. So go and throw those little wrinkles in the head if you've got space. If you haven't got space, don't worry about it. Go and throw those in. Let's go and put another little wrinkle across the top. Again, we're throwing that in now, knowing that we're going to cut it out later. It looks like a big fat line at the moment, but by the time we're finished with it, it'll be a nice thin tapered line. Okay, we are just about there. Let's start wrapping this piece up now then. So maybe just a little bit more cutting in with these pale colours. These lines have dried now. Look, let's go and cut in on these. You want them to be thin at the ends, fat and wonky in the middle. That looks nice. That works a treat. we're going to wrap this piece up with now let's go and grab your 1M. Let's go and put a few more little details in. I just want to flick a few little lines in the teeth, so just there, look, 1M. Practice your flicking off. Flick, 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 flick. Just keep on flicking that pen. You want some long flicks and some short flicks. You want some flicks coming from the top. Just practice flicking the pen around. It's just a nice way of giving those teeth a bit of graining, and that flick off method will give you a real tapered thin end to your drawing. Okay, last few seconds then, let's wrap it up then. We're going to put a power line around it, and then we'll give it a signature, and then we're done. So the power line is with this is a fat 5M white pen, and all we're going to do is we're just going to make the whole thing pop out a little bit more by going around the whole thing with a fat white pen. Now when you do this with a fat white pen, you want to get right into all the cracks. You can go back over it with a black pen later to make it all kind of tidier. But you just want to get into all the cracks there and then add that little bit of finesse, tidying it up with a black pen later. Just remember, when you're using Posca pens, it's all about making a mess first, tidying up later, and that whole process of tidying up, that's the bit that can be quite satisfying. Look how good that looks now. We've got the outlining, the power line on there. Don't stop there though. Add some drips in. That looks good. Drips on the ears, that kind of thing. I made a little mistake there, so I'm going to put a drip in. Little spots that have come out. Maybe even put some little spots on the outside. There we go. Last thing we'll do, little white reflections in the eyes. Just makes your character look a lot more alive. And then, yeah, that's it. If you like what you've done, sign it. If you don't like it, put somebody else's name on it. I'm going to sign mine, DMK. And I hope you've enjoyed that step-by-step lesson. I talked quite a bit through it, so it did take a little bit longer than I expected. In fact, 3 minutes longer, but we got there in the end. If you can, go and take a photo, share what you've done on the on my Facebook page. If you go to Doodle with Corp or Corp Academy on Facebook, you'll find a place where you can post photos. So go and post them there. I'd love to see what you've created. If you want more of this, then just check out the website down below here, corpacademy.com, and sign up for one of the membership plans. Start off with the $12 a month. That's the nice, easy way of getting involved, seeing if you enjoy it. And then when you do enjoy it, then you can upgrade and get more live lessons like this. I go live 9 times a month with my students. So if you fancy it, just go and take a little look at that. If not, just send me a message if you've got any questions. So yeah, thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that one. We'll do it again soon. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.